Okay. Yeah. Able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in the last session, we have seen about the first topic, like what is cloud, next CLI, AMA rules, next CLI, cloud shell. Okay. So any doubts in these topics, guys? IAM, CLI, and shell. Okay. So we are covering the examples here. Like if you want to practice more, we can practice n number of examples here. So these are the things we have covered. What is a cloud? So next, IAM roles, CLI, and cloud shell. Cloud shell is like a very easy one. Just it is providing the terminal access for us. So without access can secret key. So if you want to do any CLI commands, like whether it is working or not, before implementing it, so it's providing a temporary terminal for us without configuring, without requesting any admin person to provide access scan secret key. Okay. So this is not available for all the regions, only for the few regions only this cloud shell has been enabled for it. Okay. So this is, if you want to do the practice, so in the real-time scenario, your personal AWS account, we don't have access. Okay. So in the company network, we don't have access. So when you come to your home, you can practice the things like what are the tasks assigned for you. So instead of doing in your company environment, you can do in your local machine. Okay, so that you can do it, but in the company environment, like you don't have your personal AWS account, don't have the access. You can't send the files, you can't copy any kind of a data from your company network. Don't do any miscellaneous activities in the company network. Okay, so even if you, it looks like same, this is our personal account. Company also will provide for AWS account for different environments. Okay, so your personal account, don't try to, if you try to open also, it will not give the access for us. Okay, so if you got the access also fine. If you are able to access your personal account also fine, but don't do any activity, don't copy any files from, don't upload any files from your company network to your AWS account. Okay, so that is very important thing. Okay, so next topic we are going to discuss about the EC2. Okay, so EC2 is the most used service in companies. Okay, so in the real-time scenario, most of the work we are going to do with the EC2. So EC2 is nothing but servers. In our language, we can call it as a servers. Okay, so these are called as a virtual. So virtual is nothing but we are not able to touch it. Okay, so your personal systems are personal desktops or personal laptops. So you can touch it, you can carry anywhere. You can carry one place to another place. You are able to touch it. But virtual, whenever the keyword you are seeing virtually means everything we are going to see virtual thing means. So we have the server is there. So we can log into the server virtually, not physically. Okay. Physically, you are able to touch it. So that is a physical servers. Okay. Two types of servers are available. So physical servers versus virtual. Physical is nothing but when you join an organization, the company will assign a desktop or laptop assigned for you. So that we are going to call it as a physical server. Okay. All AWS servers, all the AWS account, like all the AWS resources, which we are doing is everything, it's a virtual. Okay. Same thing if you want to do physical server versus virtual server. So physical is nothing but, so if somebody is assigning like that, when you join any organization, when you are working for any project, so they will allocate a system for you. So your Windows seat is like, you need to go to this particular block, A block. So you need to go to the wing number, this one, 34th wing. You need to go to the D block. From there, you need to take. Okay. So one particular space is allocated for you and particular desktop or laptop will be assigned to you in the real-time scenario. But to assign these things, physical server, you have a lot of approvals need to be done. Even if you want to upgrade your server, something like anything like, so every system will contains, if you take your personal system only. Okay, if you take your personal system, so it is a combination of your software and hardware. So whatever the hardware details you have it, so in your system, personal system or any kind of a system, it's a combination of softwares and hardware. Hardware is nothing but your CPU, memory, RAM, storage. Okay, so these all comes under your hardware. Softwares is nothing but so built-in softwares that comes with your things, or you can install your own softwares, audio drivers, video drivers. Okay, networks. Okay, all these things will comes under the software. So in order to purchase any type of a personal laptop, what we will do? So we will take specifications. What type of specifications? Suppose, for example, you want to buy a new laptop, or if you're in a company environment, so one system is allocated for you. So for every system, there will be basic specifications will be there. So first one is operating system. So next thing is in the hardware section, CPU, or we can take it as memory, storage. Okay, so CPU, memory, storage. So okay, storage is nothing but your hard disk, RAM, memory. How much? Like if you are working on a gaming applications, based upon the RAM size which you are using in your system, so that much speed will happening. Okay, so what type of operating system? It is a Linux or Windows? How much hard disk you require? How much RAM you require? How much storage you require? All these things specifications will be tell to buy your personal things like personal laptop or desktop on the company network. Also, these things are available. So now I want to upgrade something like 8 GB systems are given. So now I want to upgrade to the 16 GB. So if you go for the physical server, what we need to do? So we need to raise a request for upgradations. Okay, so you need to send a mail to that. So my system is very slow. I need to upgrade my system. Okay, so from 8 GB to 16 GB. So the manager has to be put in his queue. So once he is approval, so the approval request goes to the next store managers. Store manager, he will tell that, okay, so for this particular system, we need to upgrade it. So the physical person will come and he will do the upgrade, and the whole process, it will take minimum 1 day. Sending the mails, approvals, store managers coming. At least minimum, you take at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. You take it minimum. If you are doing the fast parts also, minimum 30 to 1 hour it will take 30 minutes. But in AWS, what are the activities you are going to do physically, everything? Okay, so we can do in our hands. So it's providing a platform for us. So AWS cloud provider, it's providing platform for us. Okay, so PaaS is nothing but platform as a service. Okay, so what this service will do, it is providing the platform for us. So all the things are available for us. Okay, so if you want to go to the market and if you want to buy the fruits, every fruit is available. Whatever the fruit you want it, just buy and pay and take it. Same thing here also it comes to the IT industry. So whatever the physical servers, what are the upgradations you are doing, if you don't require these operating systems, if you want to work with multiple operating systems, everything will go to be the request things. But in AWS cloud, so if you have a proper permissions, so you can create your own server. So various options are providing it. Okay, so same thing like in the IT industry, like how we are using physical servers, same thing, virtual servers, we can create it. AWS is providing the various options. So if you want to upgrade it, if you want to delete the servers, if you want to create a temporary servers, so all the types of options is providing by the AWS. So the cloud virtual servers, which you can create it, so that we can call it as a service name as a EC2 service. Okay, so if you want to deploy any application, or you want to perform, you want to run some script, or you want to do any activity in IT industry means we require a system. Okay, So in order to send files, if you want to do any work in it, so first thing is we require a server. Okay, so the server creation option is provided by the AWS is EC2. Okay, EC2 is mainly designed for servers creation. Okay, so how your physical server looks like, same thing we are going to create a virtual servers. Okay, so that virtual servers, so it is providing option for is. So all the options are provided by the AWS, just we are choosing the options from it. We are not creating a new service for it. We are not providing extra, adding extra services. Suppose I want 1000 GB RAM, 2000 GB RAM. So you are not creating any RAM section or anything. So list of RAMs are available for you. So you need to select the RAM from it. So how much storage you require it? So I'm able to provide infinity storage for you. So how much storage you want it, just specify for me. So I will create a storage and I will assign to storage for you. Okay. So all the options are provided by the AWS. Just we are using the options and we are creating the servers. And everything here it is pay and use. Okay. So the option that AWS is using is pay. So what kind of a server you require? Just tell the specifications for me. So I have various options from it. You can choose the option from it, and based upon the what service you are picking up, you need to pay the bill for me. That's it. Okay. It's like, okay. So this when comes to the EC2. So if you don't know first time you are doing, so go to the service section. Once you log in the search bar, type for EC2. Okay. So some of the people are new to the EC2 because they are first time listening the AWS class. Okay. So that's the reason they are not aware with the DevOps things. So the person who is listening the first time AWS classes, so they are not aware of the EC2 section. Okay. So once you see the EC2 section, so these are all the topics will be available. Okay. So just for the DevOps classes, what we have learned, how to launch the server, how to connect it. But not only launching the servers, we have various options are available in it. Okay. So first thing is here, you need to understand that. So in a company, so first of all, we have a network will be there. This is called as a company network. So company network is nothing but, so once you, okay, so once you join in organization, so you will be provided tagging. Tagging is nothing but, so for example, if you go for the college also, so if you want to go into the college, this is a college infrastructure. Okay, so here college, there will be security guard. Okay, so there will be security guard will be, this will be the gate. So once any person is coming to this gate, college gate, what will happen? So the person, the security guard will verify whether he is a valid person or not. So how can we identify it? So by providing the ID to the student, so the student can be entered into the gate. So once he passed this one, then only he can enter into the college network. Okay, same thing as you are employed into the IT industry. So once you are qualified at the gate, okay, so this is a one level of security. Okay, so the person who puts tag in his company tag or employee. So if you show the proper evidence that you are the employee of this organization, so then only you will be allowed into the organization level. So once you move to the company network, so once you enter into the company, so this company which you are using it, this we are going to call it as a company network. Okay, same thing when you join to the college or university, so you will be entered into the college premises. Okay, just to correlate with your college with the IT. So once you join it, so there are various routes are available here. Okay, so here you have classrooms are there, principal rooms, libraries, sports, auditorium, like that. So in the IT industry also, so if you go into the organization, so there are very ways are there. So this is the roadmap. So here we can go. So if you take, this is a principal room. So this is something like auditorium. This is sports. So this is class A. This is class B. Okay. So if you take the same thing with the college thing, so once you pass the security level, you can enter into the crop space. So we have the path is there, roadmap is there. So this path we can go to anywhere. So we have a permission to go to the principal room, auditorium, sports club, library, class B, class A. So generally what we will do, so whatever the which are required classes there, so we'll cross here and we'll go to the respective class. So from here, we can go to anywhere, class A. So here also we can go to the sports club. The person has the option to go to auditorium, principal room. So same thing we can correlate with your IT industry. Okay. So once you join in our organization, in your company network, we have a different teams are available here. So this is a development team room, testing team. So this is a director sitting room. So this will be another. Okay. Different teams are available. So there will be segregation of your teams and there will be access level will be there. So if you have provided access to the director room, you can directly go to the director room. If you don't have access, so this is your project team, like your project team. So directly you don't have access to anywhere. You directly come here and you will go to your project. Your project room only you will go to. Your work environment only you will go into. So how this whole thing implemented in the real-time scenario. So we are going to see it now. Okay. So this thing we are going to correlate with the services and networking. So if you want, if you understand the how the college infrastructure will be built on it, so how the communication is happened, how the way is provided, how we are going to communicate with each and everything to the college, same thing we can relate with the IT industry. Okay, same thing here. So here, what we are going to call it as, so here, whatever the thing we are going to call is a company network. So this one we are going to call it as a VPC. Okay, so VPC is nothing but virtual private network. Okay, so we will talk about this thing, what exactly will be the virtual private network. Okay, so in that network, what will happen? So we have a, how we are defining the classrooms, all these things. So here we are also have the, inside the network, we have a sub networks are there. So these networks, we are going to call it as a subnets. Okay. So subnet A, subnet B, subnet C, like that. So how we are having the college name, this is considered as your college name. Take any college name, CBIT college name. So here we have a classroom, library room, your class CSE, class A, CSE, class B, mechanical, like that. So this in the college premises, we have various sections are available there. Same thing in the IT industry also. So we have the VPC, means company network will be there. So inside the company network, we have a sub networks are there. These networks we are going to call it as a subnets. Okay. So wherever you are going to, so the person is going to where we are going to, so he has access to various things. But here, where you want to launch your server is very important. So in IT industry, we have a server system, system, lab. Okay. So under VPC, we have a subnets are there. So each subnet where we are going to launch our server. Suppose this is subnet A. I want to launch the server in this area. Okay. So again, in the subnet, we have a concept called VPC. Each VPC will contain a subnets and each subnet will have availability zones. Okay. So how many subnets you want to create it? How, what is VPC? What is the subnets? What are the availability zones? So when it comes to the VPC section, I will should tell you so clearly. So try to understand here. So in the company network, so if you are launching any server, so any kind of a server here, we are launching it, right? So under the EC2 dashboard, when you are launching any instances, just we are clicking the launch instance. selecting the key pair and launching instance. So only for logging the server, we are telling the DevOps. So, but actually when it comes to the AWS thing, so we need to know how server is launching, how the IP address is generating. So how your system is assigned to IP address, all the things will be deals under the network section. Okay, so this will come under the networking. So once we finish the EC2, we can cover the networking. Okay, so this try to understand the VPC. Under the VPC, we have a subnets. Subnets, we have availability zones. Okay, so each subnet, we have availability zones. So where we can see that one. So when you click on the launch instance, okay, so here we have the networking. Okay, so when you see the networking concept, so this is whole network we are selecting. So each VPC can be identified with VPC ID. Okay, so when you are launching any server, so that server may be any subnet. So this is whole network we are going to call it as a VPC. Inside the VPC, we have a subnets are there. So once where you are going to launch this server, it depends upon your network settings. Okay, so now the default VPC we are selecting. If you click on the edit option here, so if you're creating the custom VPC, we can create a custom VPC. Okay, so now the default VPC which was provided by AWS, so we are choosing this one only. So when it comes to the VPC section, how to create a custom VPC, I will show you. So now try to understand the VPC. So now when we are launching any server here, so in the backend part, how it will happen. So here we have the network. So this whole thing we are going to call it as a VPC. Under the VPC, we have a subnets are there. Okay, so these many subnets are there. Okay, so you can see the subnet details. Subnet 1, subnet name is 3984797871888 like this. Okay, so you can choose any one of the subnet. So once you choose the subnet, each subnet is associated with availability zone. So that availability zone is 1:8. So how we are going to see this one? So when you see open any instances, okay, you can see here. Okay, so availability zone, it has the server has been launched in this particular VPC. So if you see here, when comes little bit, so you have the networking tab is there. Once you click here networking tab, you can see the details. So in this particular VPC, this particular subnet, in this particular availability zone, our server got launched. Okay, so same thing here. If you see multiple things, you will get confused. So let's go with. So this is our VPC. So inside VPC, we have a subnet. Okay, so this is called as a VPC. Inside the VPC, we have the subnets. So n number of subnets, how many subnets you want to create it, we can create n number of subnets here. So each subnet, we have the availability zone. Availability zone is nothing but sub data center. So where you want to launch your server, either you want to launch in this subnet or this subnet. So it is an option for you only. You can choose the server here. So now if you are seeing you're selecting this subnet means this subnet will have an availability zone. So that availability zone, we are going to launch our servers. N number of servers we can launch it. Okay, so VPC, under the VPC, we have a subnet. Under the subnet, we have the availability zone. Availability zone is nothing but it's a sub data center. So in that sub data centers only, we are launching our server. Okay, so this network setup will be done by the AWS. So currently we are using the default VPC. So we can create our custom VPC. So when it comes to the VPC section, I will tell you how to create a custom network. This whole network, we can create our own, we can create it. Okay, so if you see how the IP address is generating, how this assigning the IP address. Okay, so this private IP, how it's assigning. So this public assigning, how it will be assigning. All the things we'll see in the networking concept. Okay, so able to understand this concept, VPC, subnet, and availability zone. Same thing, if you don't understand it, correlate with your college. Okay, So college classes. Okay, so now this is another subnet. Here also we can launch in particular availability zone, we can launch the servers. N number of servers we can launch it. Okay, so these are all the servers. If you see here, same concept if you see for the Docker server and Linux server, these two servers. So the VPC is same. Subnet is also same because we haven't created custom one. If you see the networking, so VPC, subnet is same, availability zone, we have selected default one. Same thing if you go for the Linux session, so we can go to the storage, VPC, we have selected it, subnet, default one. Okay, so now if we are going to launch one more server.
Sir, in real-time scenario, can we choose the network
Yes, we
per
will
hour?
choose it. Yes, so there are two ways
Like,
I told it, right? Manual work and automation work. So manually, you can choose it. Through automation works, when we are doing it through manual works, we have the option to edit it. So just we will come here. So we have the option to edit it. Click on edit. We can select the subnet. Now previously we have 1C, right? So now I'm going with 1A. Okay. So we have only default VPC is there. You can see the default one. So we can create a custom VPC also. So what is this one? We will see the thing. Okay. So come
no,
here.
sir. Actually, now we are having the 172.16. something network
Yeah,
is there.
this.
No?
Yeah,
Can we
this
choose
one.
it to class A, class B, class C?
Class A, class B, class B means.
Now this
Class A,
network is
class B,
under
class C
class
is
B.
nothing but this is a subnet, right? So now we can see here. So same VPC. So if you say take this one networking. So this we have a availability zone is 1C. Now I'm creating the different server in different subnet. So now the servers are created in availability zone 1C. Now I'm going to create a server in another thing. Okay, so now you can click launch instance. So I'm not going with 1C, I'm going with 1D. Okay, so in the different subnet. Okay, so subnet is 196. So select the key pair. Just launch instance. That's it. So once you click in the launch instances, so you can check the servers. Okay, so once you select the servers, you can see availability zone is different. But if it comes to the network, the VPC and subnet is VPC is the same VPC, but here we are choosing the different subnet. Okay, so default one when we are clicking launch instances. Okay, so if you are not selecting any networking, the default values will be taken. So the default value is okay. So VPC, no preference we are providing it. So if you are providing no preferences means it will take any one of the three. So currently we have 3 availability zones are there. So for every region, minimum 2 availability zones will be there. So for this region, we have 3 availability zones. So it will be appended with your region code. So the region code is AP Northeast 1. So it should be 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, 1E. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H like that, it will be appended. So now you can see that 1A, 1C, 1D. Okay, so we can choose any one of the subnet. So subnet, we have a something like they will discuss about the CADR block. Okay, so the CADR block we will discuss in the VPC section. Okay, so try to understand this concept here. So we have particular network. In this particular network, so where you want to, in which sub data center you want to launch the server, it's up to you. Okay, so these sub data centers we can consider as a availability zones. Okay, so okay, so we can launch the server either in this availability zone. So based upon the region, how many availability zones is providing. So we can launch the servers in those many availability zones. Okay, so that can be identified by you can see once you launch the instance. Okay, so previously I have launched 2 servers. These 2 servers are in AP Northeast 1C availability zone. But now I have chosen my own availability zone. So that is 1D. Same process, connecting to the server and everything is the same process only, but launching the server will be, it's in your hands. where you want to launch it. Okay, so that thing will comes under your network settings. Okay, so when you launch the instances, where you want to launch the services, so that will be defined under your network settings. Okay, so this is the way we can do the main network will be there. Outside the network, like VPC, under the VPC, we have subnets are there. In subnets, we have a availability zones. Each subnet is associated with availability zones. So where you want to launch the server, in which availability zone you want to launch it, so you can choose it. Okay, so this is the way we can launch it. So for launching the server, actually we have a 7 steps are there. So first step is we are going to call it as an AMA. Okay, so already DevOps persons know this process, but the person who is listening the AWS class first time, so for that person, we need to tell this. Okay, so to launch EC2 instances, so in our language, we are going to call it as an operating system, our general language. But as per AWS language, they will ask about what is AMA. In the interview questions also, they will ask it. So what is AMA? Okay, so the person who don't know about the AWS, if he heard the first time the keyword AMA, so he doesn't understand it. So operating system, alternative name, as per AWS language or AWS terminology, we are going to call it as a AMA. Okay, so Amazon machine image. Okay, so second thing is instance type. We have it. So in our language, it is a RAM and network. Okay, so for our understanding for the interview, you can tell it. So what is instance type? Means, so how much RAM you require, what are the network speed you require, all the things we can define under the instance type. Okay, so next third step we have it. Networking. Okay, so where you want to launch your server. Okay, so where you want to launch your server, and if you want to install any custom scripts. Okay, so if you want to any install custom scripts for your server launcher itself, I want to install PHP, MySQL, Java. So that comes with server installations only. I don't want to log into the server. I don't want to install again. So if you want to write any custom scripts also, so under the networking tab, like third step is the networking section. There only we can write our custom scripts and where you want to launch it means. So you can select your VPC, subnets, and availability zones. Okay, so each and every topic name is very important. So availability zones, subnet, what is meant by subnet, what is meant by VPC, what is meant by availability zones, what is the difference between region versus availability zones. So everything they will ask in interview questions. So first they will touch with basics, then they will go with the deeper. Okay, so next fourth one is storage. So storage is nothing but, so in the like you will tell that I want 1000 hard disk, 1000 hard disk I will require it. Okay, so this is your requirement. Here also we can have the storages. So when you got the 1000 storages, what you will do? You will do the partitions in your system manually. So while installing your operating system, while the operating system in the boot process. Okay, so what you will do? You will divide the whole storage into the partitions like C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive. Same thing here also. We can create a drives on our own. No coding is there. Just we need to click on add button and we can add the storages. So how many drives you want to create it? Those many drives we can create it. And how much storage is required for each driver? So we can define the storage also. Okay. So next step is we have a tags. So tags, technically it will not do anything. Just it's like a key value pair. So in order to filter the data, like if you have 1000 servers in your EC2 instances, EC2 thing. So what we can do? So we can provide the tag names. Okay. So for filtering purpose, we are going to use the tags. So next sixth thing is we have the key pair. Okay. So key pair is nothing but, so generally for AWS, we don't have username and passwords. Okay. So everything we are going to authenticate this server. Once the server is launched it, so you want to authenticate, or if you want to log into the server, either Windows servers or Linux servers. So we don't have a password concept in the AWS. So they are providing the one key file here. So that key file name we can generate our with own name. Okay. So generally the two formats are there. So first format is PEM file. Second format is PPK file. Okay. So whenever you are launching the key pair, so the PEM file we can download it, or so we can convert the PEM file to the PPK file. Or directly either you can go with you can download the PPK file also. Okay. So previously they have upgraded now. So previously they have provided to download the PEM file. Okay. So private PEM file and PPK file. So what is the main use of the key pair is nothing but, so the key pair will be like, there are two keys are available. So one is public key and the other one is private key. Okay. So the public key will be residing in the system itself. Okay. So which system you are launching it? So that private key will be there in the system and public key will be there in the system, and private key we are downloading it. Okay. So this private key, what we will do? So if you are downloading the PEM file means, so the system will accept only PPK file. So we need to convert to the PPK file. Otherwise, you can directly download the PPK file also. So now this private key. So when you are connecting to the server, if you upload this private key, so both the public key and private key, both the keys are matching, then only we are able to log in the server. Okay. So you can use any operating systems, Linux or Windows. So single key pair file we can use for multiple servers. So one key pair we can use for multiple servers for multiple operating systems. Any operating system you take it. So single key pair we can select it, or we can create a key pair, and that key pair we can connect to your multiple servers. Okay. So how to download the key pair, how to create a PEM file, and how to convert the PEM file to the PPK file, we will see it. Okay. So next final step is we have the review step. So what are the options you have selected to create a server? All the steps we will review it and we will launch the server. Okay. So first, a very important thing is networking, where you are going to launch the server, which VPC we are going to launch the server. Okay. So that is very important. Server creation. Okay. So VPC, subnet, and which availability zone you want to launch the server, it is in your hands. Okay. So defaultly, in order to work with any kind of service, so everywhere AWS is providing the default options. Okay. So now next thing is, while selecting the AMI also, so we have the, for every AMI, region wise is it varies. Okay. So for example, you are launching one Linux server in Tokyo region. So this AMI ID is something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for example. Same Linux server I'm going to install in something like Singapore region. So if you are launching the server in two different regions, so if you are selecting the same operating systems, Linux operating system, but the AMI ID will be differ from region to region. Okay. So if you are selecting the region code, why we are telling this AMI ID or anything, if you are taking any IDs, so when you are doing the automation work, this AMI ID only will take it. So when you are doing the manual works, just we'll select the operating system name, Linux, CentOS, Ubuntu. But when it comes to the automation works, so we are not focused on the Linux or Windows. So it will be mainly depends upon your AMI ID. Okay. So that's the reason we need to be very careful while choosing the AMI ID. Okay. So region to region, the AMI ID will vary. Okay. And this AMI ID is for operating system. Okay. So now here also we have two things are there. So one is free versions and licensed one. Okay. So AWS, like the person who is really new to the AWS, is really interested to learn few things from AWS on his own or from training or practices. So what AWS is taught, so he's providing some free account. Free account is nothing but like basic configurations it's providing. to do the entire functionality. Okay, so if you want to launch the servers, so we can practice with free tier. So if you go with the license one, these are chargeable. Okay, so in the real-time scenarios, don't launch free tier eligibility servers for the real time. So don't do those activities. Only for the practice purposes, AWS is providing the free versions. Okay, so when you are launching this kind of a servers at on spot, we are launching it, right? So this type of servers, we are going to call it as a on-demand instances. Okay, so when you are launching these instances, whenever you require on demanding, like I demanding that I want to launch the server currently right now. If you want to terminate it, you can terminate it. You can stop the server, you can stop it. So on demand, you are doing everything, right? So on your own, you are launching in, you can terminate all the servers at a time, you can do it. So this type of servers you are launching from the launch instance, from the EC2 dashboard, these servers we are going to call it as a on-demand instances. Okay, so now these 7 steps we will consider here. Okay, so AMI, instance type, okay, so key pairs, okay, so these steps are very important for launching any type of a server in EC2. Okay, so first time we will see each and every step. So next time onwards, we'll directly launch the server. Okay, so first thing is operating system. So you can launch the instance in multiple ways. So we can go to the EC2 dashboard. Okay, so from here also we can launch the instances. Wherever you see the option launch instance, you can click on the launch instance. It will go to the launch instance page. Either you can go from here or instances running, we can go from here. Okay. Let me terminate. Okay. So here also we have the option to launch instances. So the EC2 is completely designed for the server creation. So in order to work in your application, or if you are working as a developer, admin, anything, any role, Java developer, testing role, any role you take in IT organization, so you require a server. Without a server or laptop or desktop, we can't do anything work. So even if you want to check the mails, if you want to install Teams, anything, if you want to communicate from one person to another person, so in the real time in the IT industry, we require a system. So the system which we are creating, the physical system which we are using in organization, so same thing, we can create a virtual servers. So it is providing a platform to create a virtual servers. So in order to launch the server, just we need to click the launch instance. Okay. So what are the 7 steps are there? So we can see the 7 steps here. Okay. So first step is, what is the name of the server you wanted? So something like it's a web server or database server, test server. Okay. Practice server. What are the name you want to create it? So we can give. Okay. Okay, for practice. Okay, so name and tags is very important. Just name we are giving here, first step. So second step is the Amazon machine image. So they will shortcutly, they will call it as a AMI. AMI is nothing but operating system. Which operating system you want it? Okay, so we have 2 types of operating systems are there. Generally Linux and Windows. So Windows and Linux, we have a different kind of a flavors. So flavors are nothing but, so previously when we started IT industry, when you are know about the system details, so everybody knows about the Windows. Are you using Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10? Okay, so like that we will do. So currently what are the Windows version is there? So they are keep on upgrading it. Okay, so same thing we have a any version to take it. So these are the flavors of Windows. Windows 11 UI will be looks different. Windows 10 UI will be looks different. Okay, so how can find in the Windows machine? Okay, so if you go for the desktop or something like a computer, this PC you take it. Okay, so if you take this PC, show more options, properties. Okay, so once you check the properties, you can see here edition. What is the edition? You can see. So Windows 11. So everybody try to upgrade their systems and they want to keep the updated one. Okay. So now we can go here. Same thing here also. For Linux also, we have a different kinds of flavors are there. Okay. So Ubuntu. So they will ask in the interview questions. So which type of Linux flavor you have worked on it? Okay. So Ubuntu, Debian. Okay. Fedora. Okay. CentOS, Red Hat. Okay. So these are the names I know. Like Linux, we have a different kind of flavors. So Linux also, they have a different flavors. So the phone is same, but the models are different. Functionality will be same. Okay. So some of the features are more in the phone. If you take iPhone, Samsung, Redmi. Okay. So the phone is same, calling and receiving the calls, and some of the functionality will be differ in the phone. But the functionality like calling and everything, the functionality is same. Same here also, each and every company, they have their own operating system. How the Windows, Microsoft company, they have developed their Windows and they are releasing one by one version. Same thing in the Linux also. So different companies, they are having their own Linux operating systems. So they have given one name here. So how we are giving the names for your phone? So one company is developing one phone. So based upon the features, the pricing will vary. Same thing here also. So in the Linux also, we have a different kinds of flavors are there. So you can choose any kind of a flavor here. Okay, same thing Windows. This is the AMI. Okay, so in our scene, you can see the AMI. Ubuntu, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Red Hat, SUS, like that, Debian. Okay, so like that, different operating systems are available here. So based upon the company requirement, they will tell it. So you have to go with Red Hat Linux. Means we need to change the Red Hat Linux. So in this also, we have a different. So once you select this operating system like Windows, suppose I want to go with Windows. Now we need to select the Windows. The highlighted one is Windows means, so we have selected the operating system as a Windows. Okay, so next step is here we have a AMI IDs. If you see here, everywhere we have the AMI IDs are there. AMI ID, AMI ID, AMI ID. So if you want to go the, so AWS is providing some name for their flavors of this Ubuntu. You want to go with Windows Server 2022, Windows Server Core Base, Core Base with SQL Server you want it, SQL Server 22 version you want it in the server, defaultly it should come with. So wherever you are not seeing a free tier eligibility, so if you are going with the free tier eligibility, for practice purposes, we are giving it. So remaining all the things which you are seeing which are not free tier one. So if you want to go with Visual Studio should comes with along with your operating system. So we can select this AMI ID. Okay, so two types of things will be there. One is free tier eligibility, another one is license one. So for our practice purpose, we can go with free tier. So when you are not selecting, so the default one, the first one will be selected automatically. So if you want to go with other one, we can go with the other one, no problem. Okay, so 64-bit, this is the AMI ID for. If you want, somebody asked about the Microsoft Windows Server 2019 with desktop experience English AMI provided by Amazon. If somebody is telling me this is manual selection. So if you want to go with automation, so yesterday we have created one thing. Okay, so yesterday we have done AWS EC2 run instances. Okay, so if you want to launch the instances through automation way, through CLI, what we will need to do? So we need to provide AMI ID like this. We can't select the Windows like that. So based upon this AMI ID only, it will create a choosing of your operating system. Okay, same thing if you want to go for with Linux means, so we'll go with Linux. Anything you take it, so we will highlight the Linux. In the Linux also we have different flavors are there. So we can go with free tier. Only in the training perspective we are going with a free tier, but in the real time scenario we are not going with the free tier. You can select any free tier. Okay, so next first step is done. AMI. You can choose either Linux or Windows. Next is instance type. How much RAM you require for your system. Okay, So that will be given here. So defaultly, we are going with T2 micro. So each instance type, they are giving certain names. Okay. So what is the name? T2.micro, T2.medium. Okay. We have a different families are available in the instance type. So each family which having a T2 family, in that T2 family, we have T2.micro. Okay. So if you see here, we have lots of things. So how much GB of RAM you require? You can select the RAM. T3.x large you are selecting means you are allocating 16 GB of RAM for your system. So, but this is not a free tier one. So in the real time scenario, they will tell what type of instance type you need to select it. But for practice purpose, for training purpose, so we are going with free tier. Okay. So lots of things are there. So we can go to the okay, so here we can see the instance types. Total instance types we have it 559 is there. So here also we have the different families are there. Okay, so I will tell with the AWS instance types. Okay, so these are the families: T family, T2 family, T3A family, T4, A1, M4, M5, 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 M5 like this. So these are the general purpose one. So if you go with the T2, so this one. So currently we are using T2.micro. Okay. So whenever we are seeing the instance type here, so we have a lots of instance types are there with different families are there. So here we have a drop down. So lots of things are available here. Z like that. But how many instance types are there? So they have categorized into multiple ways. Types of instance type: general, computerized, memory, okay, accelerated, storage. These are the things. So for the general purpose, we have the T family and M family, A family, it comes in. So when to choose which instance type? Okay, so these are the different types of instance families. So here in the real time scenario, so which instance type we need to select it? Okay, that's the question. So based upon your application, so if you are using database, if you are reading the data, processing the data like that. So if you are uploading any videos, Amazon Prime Video or Netflix, you take it. So if you are required a storage, if you want to having a uploading one, if you want to reading it, uploading the files. Okay, so large process of data we need to process it. So lakhs of data we are getting it. So how much burden we are keeping on the server? So based upon the usage, based upon the use cases, we are going to choose the instance type. So for each instance type, they have given the scenario here. So general one. So if you want to sustain a high performance, then we will go with. Okay. So these are the features of the general purpose one. So you can go with how much GB it will be supported, maximum 32 GB. So generally for the web-based applications, so like a Flipkart, Amazon. So whenever you are going with the web-based applications, generally we will go with the T families. T family with, if your system required 8 GB, we need to select the T2 large. So if you require a 16 GB, 32 GB, okay. So internally it will be 4 CPUs are allocated for your system. System will be one single only, but in the backend process, it will be allocated 4 CPUs. So if you are selecting 32 GB for your system, so we need to select the family or the instance type should be T2.2x large. So it comes here, we need to go to the select here, T2.media, T2x large. Once you select it, 32 GB RAM, 8 CPUs are allocated. So able to understand, guys? Okay, so able to understand instance type. What is the use of instance type?
Yes.
Okay. So next class is going to start it. So we are going to stop here. We will continue from the same process. Okay, in the next class. Okay. Okay. Any doubts? Any questions, guys? Okay. Okay, if you don't have any doubts, we'll close it. And Monday, there will be no class. So if you want to compensate it, we will take in Saturday. Okay. Otherwise, we will catch class on Tuesday. Okay, Monday, there is no class. This Monday. Okay. Bye,
So
guys.
tomorrow class is there also.
Yeah, tomorrow, if you want, we can take the class. To compensate for Monday's one. Monday, I don't take class. So this Monday, I don't take class. So if you want, we can continue the tomorrow same timings.
Okay, sir. We can have a class tomorrow then.
Tomorrow morning, we will have the class at same timing, 7 a.m. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Chalo. Bye, guys.